naBhiSheko na samskarah simhasya kriyathe vane vikramarjithasathvasya svayameva mrgendhrathaa. What does this mean, Amma?
The word meaning naBhiSheko, without coronation, samskarah, without any ritualistic activities, simhasya, the lion, kriyathe, vane, is done in the forest. Vikramarjithasathvasya, the qualities inherent are born with. Satvasya is the individual gunas. Svayameva, on its own. Mrgendhrathaa, mruga, animals. Indrathaa, king. So the translation goes like this. The lion is not coronated. It does not undergo any ritualistic activities, but by its own inherent merit and majestic attitude, the lion is considered the king of animals in the forest.
This Subhashitha is talking about coming up on one's own merit. In our film industry and many other industries, we see successful stars prop up their children and try to give them stardom. But in today's day and age, this is not really working out so well. OTT has transformed the landscape. OTT has given people with talent an avenue to come out and share stories which previously would have been gated or censored. OTT has also given small-time actors a platform to showcase their talent. Many of the star kids are now dying to get onto OTT platforms and produce different types of work than would be produced in the regular film industry.
Films, sports, politics, business. These are the four main areas where star parents try to push up their children. But these days we are having lots of youngsters come up on their own in all these fields. Here I would take the example of Hema. She was a young rural girl from the Ding Taluk in Assam. She was born to farmer parents. She did not even have shoes. She ran barefoot when she initially started running. But today, by her sheer perseverance and hard work, she is the first Indian athlete, male or female, to have won a gold in any international competition. And a girl who ran barefoot initially is now sponsored by Adidas, and Adidas have even made a series of shoes in her name. This is greatness on her own merit. A small interesting story which Hema herself has recounted. When she started running, it was with bare feet. Then when she entered her first national event, her father bought her a pair of ordinary spikers. But then she herself wrote Adidas on the shoes. Now Adidas is sponsoring her.
Vikrama means prowess, valor, skill. It means you have mastery in certain areas. And when you think about self-acquired mastery, the first person who comes to mind is Ekalavya from Mahabharata. Ekalavya went to Dronacharya and asked him to become his teacher. But Dronacharya had been assigned the task of teaching the Pandavas and the Kauravas, basically all princes, and Dronacharya refused to admit Ekalavya along with the princes. But Ekalavya was not discouraged. Ekalavya set up an image of Dronacharya and started practicing in front of it. He would observe how Dronacharya taught the Pandavas and the Kauravas and come back to his practice area, practice the same. He got so good, he was about to become the world's #1 archer. But Dronacharya had promised Arjuna to make him the number one archer in the world. So when Dronacharya got to know about Ekalavya, he asked for his right thumb as Guru Dakshina. Ekalavya immediately cut off the thumb and gave it to him. But even this did not stop Ekalavya. Sure, he wasn't going to become the number one archer, but he was still a very good archer. He figured out how to continue his archery using his remaining fingers. That's how keen he was to become a master of this craft. This is sheer perseverance, sheer pursuit of gaining mastery, overcoming all odds. A person like this does not require external validation or the world to recognize how good he is.
Various studies done world over have come up with 4 important qualities for a leader. Number 1, inherent talent. 2, practice. 3, perseverance. 4, humility. There are, of course, other good qualities also. But if you pursue any career and want to attain mastery in that profession, these 4 qualities are a must.
This Subhashita is all about merit. One area in which merit is showing up is in the way we get our news. We no longer rely on the traditional media channels, which are now owned by people with vested interest and hence contort news. A lot of us now listen to other voices, which did not exist before. Social media or podcasting or YouTubers, they have given us access to so many more viewpoints which traditional media channels would hesitate to publish. Most of these influencers do not have anyone backing them up. If they have gained followers, if they have become famous, they have done so on their own merit. I really appreciate that.
Here, we can also think of Bharata. When Rama was in exile, he brought back Rama's padukas, kept them on the throne. He was not anointed as king, he was not coronated, but he ruled Ayodhya as efficiently as Rama, silently from an ashrama. It was his integrity that gave him all the strength to do this.
I recently attended a talk by Dr. Bibek Deb Roy. He is the chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister and the Government of India. He was talking about how countries are classified as developed, developing, or an LDC, that is, a least developed country. In terms of this global classification, India still falls under the developing countries. However, we have started leading in the digital transaction space. India is now the 5th largest economy in the world. As of last year, 2022, 46% of all real-time payments made through digital means worldwide happened from India. Prime Minister Modi mentioned this in his speech at the US Congress as well. If you look at it in this digital aspect, India could be classified as a developed country, whereas the US would become an LDC. The world refuses to recognize this publicly, but India is slowly emerging as a growing power on its own merit. That's it for today. What ideas does this Subhashita give you? Let us know. See you guys in the next episode.